It starts with a sound. The buzz of an espresso machine, the hiss of steam, the soft ping of a phone as your order goes through. That single tap doesn't just buy coffee. It deposits money into one of the most profitable banks on earth. Except, this bank doesn't call itself a bank. It calls itself Starbucks Rewards. In 2024, customers loaded nearly $2 billion onto Starbucks cards and apps. Most of that cash sat unspent for months. Free capital Starbucks quietly used to grow its empire. To Wall Street, that's genius. To behavioral psychologists, it's a case study in mass conditioning. Because Starbucks isn't really in the caffeine business anymore. It's in the habit-shaping business, one that turns loyalty into leverage. Before we decode how Starbucks monetized your morning routine, let's highlight a company redefining loyalty in the opposite way. Black Rifle Coffee isn't playing psychological chess with its customers. It's a veteran-founded company that earns loyalty through purpose, not programming. While big brands manipulate attention, Black Rifle builds community, employing veterans, funding first responder causes, and roasting beans right here in America. If you believe loyalty should mean values rather than variables, check out blackriflecoffee.com. Now, let's trace how Starbucks learned to turn coffee into currency. In 1971, Starbucks was a humble Seattle roastery. No music, no Wi-Fi, just beans. By the late 90s, it had become a cultural movement, the third place, between home and work. But by 2008, growth was stalling. McDonald's was cheaper. Local cafes were cooler. Enter the loyalty experiment. The Starbucks card, launched 2001, taught executives a fascinating truth. When people prepay for coffee, they return more often, and they spend more. That discovery evolved into Starbucks Rewards in 2009. It looked like a marketing perk. In reality, it was a behavioral data goldmine. Every scan tracked purchase time, location, and preference. Over millions of swipes, Starbucks built one of the largest consumer habit databases in retail. By 2014, 40% of all U.S. transactions came from Rewards members. The company had found its future, not in roasting beans, but in roasting behavioral data. In 2011, Starbucks released a mobile payment feature with auto reload. You could load $25, earn bonus stars, and never think about cash again. Convenient? Absolutely. But hidden beneath that convenience was a new financial model. Each reload created a float. Money Starbucks could hold interest-free until redemption. Multiply small balances across tens of millions of users, and suddenly Starbucks was sitting on more liquid capital than some credit unions. By 2024, that float hovered near $1.8 billion. Accounting called it stored value. Economists called it free financing. Here's the psychological twist. Customers liked the system. Auto reload felt frictionless, rewarding, even generous. No one noticed that the free drink cost them participation in a private economy run entirely by Starbucks. Each purchase fueled what scholars call a closed-loop ecosystem, a world where customers fund, operate, and perpetuate the same brand that trains them. Starbucks wasn't selling coffee anymore. It was selling the illusion of control and the comfort of ritual. Inside the company's digital experience lab, designers, neuroscientists, and behavioral economists collaborate like pharmacologists. Their drug of choice? Dopamine. The app runs on a habit loop. Cue, notification or craving. Routine, open app, order. Reward, animation, sound, digital star. Each loop strengthens neural pathways, teaching the brain that satisfaction equals scanning a barcode. Variable reward schedules, the same ones used in slot machines, keep users guessing. Double star days, surprise bonuses, challenges for limited drinks, all engineered uncertainty. Neuromarketing studies show dopamine spikes 30% higher when rewards are unpredictable. That chemical rush turns a $6 latte into a micro-gamble that never feels like spending. Even small UX tweaks amplify the pull. A 1-second delay between purchase and reward confirmation increases anticipation and session time. Color psychology tests found that Starbucks' signature green evokes trust and stability, easing guilt around indulgence. By 2023, over 75 million members were enrolled globally. Rewards customers spent 3 times more per month than casual buyers. It's not coincidence, it's conditioning. All that digital loyalty comes with a hidden payout. Information. Every tap tells Starbucks who you are, your schedule, commute, Even mood cycles based on caffeine timing. Split screen. Left shows customer going about daily routine. Right shows machine learning algorithms analyzing their behavior. Push notification appears on phone just before customer typically orders. Weather API integration showing temperature-triggered promotions. Lighting suggests technological precision and prediction. Machine learning models analyze this river of data to predict when you'll next crave coffee. Push notifications hit minutes before your usual order window. That isn't luck. That's predictive modeling turning psychology into profit. The more accurate the prediction, the more seamless the experience, and the less you question it. Starbucks even integrates weather APIs. A rise in temperature triggers cold drink promotions. Rainy day? Pumpkin spice ad. Abstract visualization of behavioral capital as a new asset class. Financial charts showing the value of psychological data versus traditional assets. Corporate boardroom setting with executives analyzing behavioral metrics. Lighting suggests the monetization of human psychology, each variable optimized for one thing: to keep the dopamine loop humming. To the consumer, it feels like personalization. To the company, it's orchestration. This fusion of finance plus data plus psychology created an entirely new asset class: behavioral capital. And Starbucks sits on one of the richest deposits on the planet. By 2018, Starbucks' internal analytics showed something unexpected. Customers weren't visiting for the coffee experience anymore. They were visiting for the reward experience. The product had flipped. Coffee became the excuse. The dopamine loop became the product. That realization terrified some executives but thrilled investors. Loyalty metrics predicted quarterly revenue better than store counts or bean costs. In one earnings call, a CFO joked, "Our best performing beverage is the rewards app." He wasn't wrong, but cracks were forming. Younger audiences, bombarded by gamified everything, began craving authenticity over algorithms. The green siren song was starting to lose its magic. So, what happens when manipulation meets meaning? And could another brand rewrite loyalty as belonging, not behavior? When Starbucks discovered that dopamine, not espresso, powered its profits, everything changed. They didn't just build cafes, they built feedback loops. Every notification, badge, and double star day became another microdose of satisfaction. Push alerts replaced advertising. Behavior replaced marketing. Split comparison. Traditional casino environment versus Starbucks rewards experience, both showing similar brain activity patterns. The wholesome nature of earning rewards versus gambling money. Lighting contrasts the seedy casino with the clean, friendly coffee environment, while showing their psychological similarity. Executives called it engagement. Neuroscientists call it operant conditioning. The genius is subtle. Unlike a casino, the risk feels wholesome. You're not gambling money, you're earning rewards. But the same circuits fire in the brain: anticipation, reward, relief. This new economy doesn't sell caffeine or calories. It sells predictable emotion. And Starbucks owns the recipe. Walk into a store today and try to escape the system. Even if you pay cash, baristas invite you to earn stars. Decline, and you feel like you've opted out of belonging. That's the brilliance of social engineering. Exclusion masquerading as convenience. Behind-the-scenes look at data-driven store optimization. Heat map eye tracking studies, A/B testing of pastry placement, quarterly app redesigns. Multiple screens showing user behavior analysis. Technical lighting emphasizes the calculated nature of every element. The menu? Optimized by data. Placement of pastries? A/B tested to maximize add-on sales. The app layout? Redesigned every quarter based on heat map eye tracking. It's not just about upselling, it's about training. Each micro-choice pushes you toward the behavior Starbucks wants most: automaticity. Visual metaphor of the prefrontal cortex versus the app's influence. Brain scan imagery showing the decision-making process being overridden. Customer making automatic ordering decisions without conscious thought. Scientific lighting suggests the neurological battle taking place. Psychologists use that word to describe actions performed without awareness. The more automatic the order, the less friction, the higher the frequency. So Starbucks isn't fighting competitors anymore. It's fighting your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that asks, "Do I really need this?" And most days, the app wins. Underneath this behavioral design sits an overlooked financial structure: Starbucks' own microbanking system. Those unspent balances on gift cards and apps, they act like deposits. Starbucks earns interest while they sit. In accounting terms, it's called a liability. In practice, it's free cash flow. Add in breakage, and Starbucks pockets hundreds of millions from money never redeemed. Now picture the scale. Tens of millions of customers across 70 countries. Every swipe of a card or scan of an app adds another line to a silent balance sheet that behaves like a shadow central bank. If you combine the Starbucks float with its gift card ecosystem, you'd create the world's largest unregulated prepaid network, bigger than some nations' currency circulation. And yet, to regulators, it's just coffee. That's the real sleight of hand. Starbucks turned customer affection into financial infrastructure, all wrapped in whipped cream. Here's the uncomfortable part. None of this works without you. You feed the loop, you reload the wallet, you give away behavioral data in exchange for digital confetti. When everything feels frictionless, accountability disappears. Impulse purchases blur into daily rituals. Behavioral economists call it temporal discounting, our tendency to favor small rewards now over larger savings later. Starbucks didn't invent it, they industrialized it. Think about it. Every free drink is bought with a dozen micro-decisions you didn't feel yourself making. The moment when loyalty transforms into dependency, the line between habit and hijack dissolves. In that fog of convenience, Starbucks wins twice. They get your cash up front. They get your attention forever. But there's a limit. When loyalty feels like dependency, even the strongest brand begins to crack. Across America, a quiet rebellion brews. Younger consumers are trading algorithms for authenticity. They crave brands that mirror values, not manipulate behavior. Black Rifle Coffee community scenes, veterans working, first responder programs, authentic customer interactions. Visual contrast with Starbucks' algorithmic approach. Natural, documentary-style lighting emphasizes authenticity and real human connections. Enter Black Rifle Coffee. Born from a community of veterans, Black Rifle doesn't gamify loyalty. It earns it through identity, service, and shared mission. Where Starbucks measures stars, Black Rifle measures stories. Every purchase funds veteran jobs and first responder programs. Every bag of beans connects buyers to something real: gratitude, purpose, belonging. Brain scan comparisons showing identity-based attachment versus addiction pathways. Visual representation of empathy-based neural networks versus expectation-based ones. Scientific lighting that feels warmer, more human than previous clinical shots. Psychologists call this identity-based attachment. It activates a different neural network than addiction, one rooted in empathy, not expectation. That's why Black Rifle's customers evangelize the brand. They don't just drink coffee, they represent it. The takeaway for every entrepreneur watching this: data builds efficiency, values build resilience. We're entering an era where attention is the most contested resource on Earth. Corporations will keep designing systems to harvest it. Algorithms will keep learning faster than we can resist. But the brands that survive the next decade won't be the ones that trap behavior. They'll be the ones that earn trust. Split screen finale: Starbucks' billion-dollar float versus authentic human connections. Visual metaphor of customers as data points transforming into people. The moment when consumers recognize manipulation and search for meaning. Lighting transitions from clinical to warm, human-centered. Starbucks may own the present with its billion-dollar float, but the future belongs to those who see customers not as data points but as people. Because once consumers recognize manipulation, they start searching for meaning. And meaning, unlike dopamine, doesn't fade after the buzz. If this episode made you rethink how loyalty works, consider supporting a brand that's redefining it. Black Rifle Coffee stands for service, authenticity, and freedom. Values that can't be programmed into an app. No points, no algorithms, no hidden bank, just roasted excellence with a purpose behind every cup. Visit blackriflecoffee.com and see how real loyalty tastes. Starbucks proved loyalty could be monetized. Black Rifle is proving it can be humanized. If you enjoyed this psychological deep dive, subscribe to Secrets in the Sauce. Next week, the coffee loyalty wars. Can mission beat machine? Because the most valuable reward you can give a brand isn't a star on an app, it's your trust.